All right, let's speak to political analyst Sipho Seepe on these particular developments. He joins us now virtually. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Seepe, here on eNCA. What do you make of the fact that Ruyter and Eskom say they've agreed that he will not finish his term until March? Were you surprised?
Well, I was surprised. Remember, this is a person who the regime had supported. There were calls that he was incompetent, that he's out of his depth, and but there've been a lot of support, especially largely from white commentators. But you also had government that says removing him is not going to solve anything. Now, his removal right now, which is summarily coming after this interview, that one will say it's explosive, simply indicates that the decision to keep him was always wrong. If you have a person who has presided over a long load-shedding season and which has wreaked havoc in the country, a person like that should have long been given marching orders. But when you're white in this country, the treatment is always different. There's always a reason why you should be kept. So what he has done, he has actually almost bitten the hand that fed him. And he has had a number of issues that are worrying that we as South Africans should be asking people to follow. And one is pleased to see that the ATM has decided that these revelations or pronouncements that he has made are worthy of further investigation.
Previously, we did hear the chairperson of the ANC, the national chairperson of the ANC, that is Gwede Mantashe, and obviously Minister of Mineral Resources, basically just, saying how useless, for lack of a better word, Ruyter was. But nothing was done after that. They had to wait for him to resign first, before anything was done in terms of dealing with the fact that under his tenure, we've experienced the worst load shedding. But some people would say it's the ANC's fault because of what he just told my colleague Annika Larsen.
Oh yeah, what he has said is quite serious. One is that there's a loss of money up to R1 billion per month that is lost to corruption. And one must also understand this within the context of the new dawn, because these are the people who were appointed, posted 2018 when Ramaphosa took over. And they were told that the new dawn is going to sweep clean. And as some commentators have mentioned, that at least this Brian Molefe cannot be blamed, no Koko, no Zuma, which had always been a scapegoat every time everything goes wrong at Eskom. Now those are gone, and Ruyter tells us that the Eskom is corruption infested. And he also goes further to say he also knows ministers, and I know to talk about the senior minister, who told him that it may be time, he must be practical, that it's time for some people to eat. That is a very bothersome, because what it says is that corruption is condoned and almost encouraged at the highest level. And we cannot, after the state capture, allow these things to continue or allow these statements to go uninvestigated or not followed. So what he said is very serious. But you must couple that with what was also said by Gwede Mantashe himself, when he says load shedding costs this country about R1 billion a day. So effectively, the new dawn has been very disastrous in terms of the economy of this country, in terms of the monies that have been lost. But what Ruyter has said is much more serious. When we also expect him to have reported this, because there is a law in this country that when you are aware of corruption, the law that talks about prevention and combating of corrupt activities act requires that this should be reported. One hopes that the Ruyter will be able to indicate where he had actually reported all these activities that cost the country so much money.
Yeah, and I mean, Mr. Seepe, there has to be some truth to what Ruyter told my colleague eNCA, right? Because at some point during the time that he was handing over his state capture report, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo did say there that even Parliament failed in its duty for oversight when it came to Eskom and other parastatals such as your PRASA, etc. But, it looks to me that South Africans were just embroiled in politics. At some point, Andre de Ruyter saying state security agency was used to basically just have surveillance on him. But we have the same state security agency that couldn't see that there was an insurgence going on in South Africa in July of 2021. So it looks like, as you were saying, they're more interested in winning the elections than fixing what is wrong to actually win elections fairly.
Well, there's no doubt that the ANC continues to fail South Africans. It is the ANC that deploys people. And it is the same, even the Zono Commission could not come up to tell us what was the role of Glencoe. If you read the reports now and then internationally, we're told that the Glencoe itself was a corrupt entity. But for some reason, when it came to South Africa, the Zono Commission did not seem to find anything that will link that corruption to also Glencoe. So you find that our approach to this is first to deal with people politically, but also with an eye on elections and nothing else. And you've seen within the ANC, it's been more bloodletting. Comrades have been destroying each other. And the Ruyter who has been appointed even questions that whether the current leadership, the leadership that was reporting to or working with, is up to the task. So if the leadership is not up to the task, but also the same leadership says he's not up to the task, but they deployed him and they were very willing to defend him, even when there was clear failure. It says that South Africans are on their own. You don't have leadership, and we must brace ourselves, as some people have indicated, for worse things to come in terms of load shedding in this country.
All right, political analyst Sipho Seepe speaking to us there. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. You can catch the full interview with Andre de Ruyter. He had a sit down with my colleague eNCA on eNCA.com.